Joan Rivers used to say, "Can we talk?"
Well, today we want to ask that. Can we talk about products that are fortified with protein?
Hey, what's up, family? I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com. And that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it. Joan Rivers used to say, "Can we talk?"
Well, today we want to ask that. Can we talk about products that are fortified with protein?
And I see that big Cheshire cat smile on your face. I'm assuming that you think that this is going to ruffle some feathers.
I love talking about topics that may upset people.
Well, here's the weird thing. Who brought this topic to Two Crazy Ketos for today's video? Me. It's because I think it's very important for us to talk about this topic, whether or not it ruffles feathers.
Yeah, so let's get into talking about protein and more specifically, products that are fortified with protein.
Now, fortification of a product with protein means that additional protein has been added, but it is not automatically guaranteed that the protein is bioavailable. That's why we're talking about this today, because bioavailability refers to the proportion of the nutrient that is absorbed and utilized by the body. The bioavailability of protein in fortified products, they depend on several factors.
Yeah, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. So let's talk about some of these factors. The first one is going to be, what type of protein is it? I mean, different protein sources actually have different levels of bioavailability. For example, animal proteins like whey and casein are generally more bioavailable than plant proteins.
Well, you also have to factor in the processing method. The way the product is processed can affect protein bioavailability. High heat or certain chemical treatments can denature proteins, potentially reducing their bioavailability.
Then you have like the presence of like other nutrients that are inside of that food. So certain nutrients can enhance or they can inhibit the protein absorption. For instance, you have the presence of certain amino acids or digestive enzymes that will improve the absorption of the protein. But then there's anti-nutritional factors like phytates and then tannins that are actually going to hurt you when it comes to absorption of protein.
Let's talk about digestibility, because that's also a factor. The form of the protein, for example, hydrolyzed, isolate, concentrate, can affect how easily it is digested and absorbed by the body.
So you have to look at it this way. Reputable food companies will often use protein sources and processing methods that will maximize the bioavailability.
Hopefully.
But it's also important for consumers to really check the specifics of each product that you purchase to understand the true nutritional benefits of those products.
Yeah, you should be cautious and critically evaluate a product claiming to be fortified with protein. What if there's a lack of detailed information? Because I think we get that a lot, right? Like if the product packaging or labeling does not specify the type and amount of protein added, it could be a red flag. Look for transparency regarding the protein source. For example, is it whey protein? Is it soy protein? Is it pea protein? And the actual grams of protein per serving.
Right. And then you have like the poor ingredient quality. So if a product lists protein sources that are questionable quality, or they're using fillers and they're using additives excessively, then the protein may not really be beneficial for you. The ingredients should ideally be recognizable and very minimal.
Now, you also need to watch out for excessive claims. That's something that we see a lot, especially when they're trying to market protein fortified food to us. Be wary of products making exaggerated health claims, such as promising extreme muscle gain or rapid weight loss solely due to the added protein. These claims offer a lack of scientific support. I don't know if I'm actually getting what they're claiming.
So then you also have to look at the high sugar and the additives. A lot of fortified products will compensate for the taste by adding a lot of different sugars, artificial flavors, preservatives, and those are all going to undermine your health benefits of the added protein that you're taking.
Can we also talk about unverified sources? If the product comes from a brand that in other areas you've noticed lacks credibility or doesn't provide a third-party testing or certifications where you can trace it back to what is this certification, it may be wise to be cautious. All right, cautious is what we're talking about here because reputable brands typically ensure their claims are backed by testing and quality control.
Then we have to look at like the digestibility concern.
Absolutely.
So if a product contains protein sources that are known to have low digestibility and bioavailability, then your body may not be able to even effectively utilize that protein. So you really need to check the protein sources that are known for higher bioavailability. And this is where we have to look at products like Quest peanut butter cups.
It's candy.
I love Quest peanut butter cups, but like you said, it's candy. It's not a protein source. I love Quest cookies. It's a dessert.
It's a dessert.
It's not a protein source. So if you consume these things, when you look on the label and it says like 20 grams of protein, don't count that protein because when you mix it with the other ingredients that are in that processed food, it affects the bioavailability of that protein.
Absolutely. And I am especially concerned, this is why this topic I'm very passionate about, is because I'm thinking about children. I'm thinking about people who have trouble consuming the quantity of protein that their body really needs. I think about people who maybe have had a gastric bypass surgery or some other bariatric surgery that really limits the amount that they can take in. And of course, something that is small, like a Quest cup, or you have a dessert or something that's going to be hyper palatable, of course, it's going to be a lot easier to say, hey, if I need more protein, why don't I just go to look at these sources to get it? Because it's going to be more fun, it's going to be more tasty, and it's going to be easier for me to get down. But are you really getting what you're purchasing?
So by examining these aspects, you can better assess the validity and the quality of a product's protein fortification claims.
And we're not bringing this subject up because we're just conspiracy theorists and we don't trust people for no reason. But there have been examples where companies have lied. I know that that's hard to believe, right?
Yeah, that would never happen.
But one notable example of a product that claimed to be fortified with protein but was found to be misleading happened in 2014. And I think you can remember even when they were really pushing the protein pastas. Like your kids don't want to eat meat, just make them.
Never made sense to me.
Macaroni and cheese made with this pasta that's like special protein pasta. So in 2014, there was a case involving pasta lensi protein pasta. The product was advertised as being high in protein, leading consumers to believe it contained a significant amount of added protein. However, it was discovered that the protein content was primarily from wheat, not from any additional high protein sources. So the case resulted in legal action and the company faced scrutiny for misleading marketing practices. But think about the companies that no one just lasers in on that specific product and then sues over that product. Because you could have a whole product line, and unless the specific product that has a problem with it is noted in a specific lawsuit, nothing is done about this.
Yeah, it's funny. We're talking about protein, but you see it even like with cereal, right? It's
sure.
Like fortified with vitamins. Wait a second. You took the vitamins out. Now you're going to put them back in? That makes no sense. Anyway, such cases will really highlight the importance of scrutinizing the labels and then the marketing claims to ensure that the product truly offers the nutritional benefits that it advertises. So you may be asking if we shouldn't be using like Quest peanut butter cups and other things like that for protein, what would be the best form of protein? The answer is meat, or more specifically, animal proteins.
Well, you almost have to specify meat made from animals because there's a lot out there. So we're going to say meat made from animals is going to be your best source of protein, a source of protein that nobody can fool you with, right? Because it's a real cow and you're eating a real cow or real deer, like it's an actual animal and you're getting the protein promise.
So when you compare meat or animal-based protein to plant protein, meat is just better.
Just better.
I mean, the proteins in food from animals like meat and milk and eggs tend to be absorbed more easily than those from plant sources like nuts and beans and grains. And part of the reason is because there's a fibrous coating that protects those plants from insects and diseases. But that coating also shields the rate of digestion.
Right. Now, animal protein is considered complete, meaning that it contains all 20 of the amino acids that we need, whereas plant proteins do not always contain all amino acids needed for protein synthesis.
And animal protein is very efficient as a delivery system, and it's more easily digested and it's more easily absorbed than plant proteins, and often in a much smaller caloric package. Plus, it's the best source for omega-3s, for vitamin B12, for calcium, and for vitamin D.
Now, on the other side, you have plant proteins, and we need to talk about that because plant proteins are being heavily marketed to us.
So plant proteins are less digestible than animal proteins.
In addition, plant proteins can also contain anti-nutrients such as phytates, lectins, and oxalates in plant foods that may reduce the absorption of essential nutrients, and eating a lot of phytates may contribute to deficiencies in some of the minerals.
Now, if you're trying to lose weight, attempting to get your protein from plants can actually make it harder.
Oh, that's so sad.
And that's because you need to eat more of carb-heavy plants to get the same amount of protein that you would from meat. And those carbs contain calories. And then on keto, those carbs will interfere with your body's ability to go into ketogenesis. And that's why so many people who switch to a vegetarian diet actually begin to gain weight.
Absolutely. Now, I know your next question may actually be, what about protein powders?
So protein powders are not a replacement for animal-based protein.
Should we get a shield right now?
I know.
Because I know that's going to upset somebody. I get it.
If you are only consuming protein powder as your only source of protein, you're doing it wrong. Protein powders should only be considered a supplement.
There you go.
So protein powders, however, can be a useful tool for people who have higher protein needs.
Sure. Now, I know what your next question is going to be. What about keto chow? That's the question, right? You're thinking, because keto chow is something you're going to put into the protein powder department. Now,
It is a protein powder.
it is a protein powder. I'm going to say it's more than just a protein powder.
It's still a protein powder.
But it's still a protein powder. And although keto chow is great and we use keto chow a lot, even the owners, Chris and Miriam, are going to tell you it's not designed to be your sole source of nutrition. Now, you may have a season of life like Joe did when he had major dental surgery, and he really needed to leverage keto chow. But even then, we ate a lot of the egg pudding because then we could add an animal source of protein.
Well, the eggs have a lot of protein.
To the keto chow. You may have an isolated incident where someone needs to be fed through a stomach tube, something like that.
These are isolated incidents
Very
that like
small group.
are short term.
Right.
Right? This is not a long-term thing. I mean, listen, keto chow is great. And like Rachel said, even Chris and Miriam said, it's not designed to be like the only thing you're eating 3 meals a day. I mean, Chris did do like a test, but it was a test for other things to see, can it be done? And again, it was a short-term thing. You should be utilizing keto chow for 1 or 2 meals a day and then eating a healthy, and by healthy, I mean a lot of meat.
Meat.
Right? A lot of meat.
That's it.
All protein powders are processed foods, even keto chow. And you are always going to be better off getting your protein from a whole food source.
Yes, we use and recommend keto chow. We've even helped to develop flavors for keto chow. But we don't want you to use that as your sole protein source. Keto chow and other protein powders that are manufactured responsibly, and keto chow is absolutely manufactured responsibly. They can be included as part of a healthy diet to fill in the gaps. They're just not supposed to be the sole source.
So let's sum this all up. The bottom line is protein is super important.
Super important.
It is a building block. It is a major macronutrient. You absolutely need to have protein and a decent amount of protein, because without having the right amount of protein and consuming enough of it and consuming good quality, you're risking things like breaking a hip because you could lose bone density, muscle mass. As you get older, you're going to get weaker. You need to consume your protein, and it has to be the right amount of protein. Now, I know a lot of people will ask, like, well, how much protein? There's no set number. Everybody is different, but I could give you a bare minimum. We talk about this a lot. No matter how old you are, how young you are, how tall you are, how short you are, my personal belief from everything that we've researched is you need to consume at least 100 grams of protein a day. And that probably isn't enough.
And when it comes to consuming your protein, you need to check labels. You need to verify claims. If you are utilizing any packaged food that is a protein source or claiming to be a protein source, and you really don't want to rely on it completely. You want to leverage meat. You really want to rely on meat, prioritize meat first, because that's going to be your best source of protein.
Yeah, eat your meat. If you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at the most recent videos I'm gonna put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time.
Bye.